Everybody, Ray Hayden here, and this video is going to be about the disassembly of this double oven here. It's two pieces. They connect somewhere around here because there's definitely a top and a bottom oven going on here. So I'm going to need to remove this entire frame, and I'm going to have to take these two units apart. Now, the thing about this is it's too old to really donate to somebody to be able to use and stuff like that. An oven's only good for so many years, and this is over 20 years old. And I looked up online, and I could expect to maybe get 13 to 15 years out of an oven. This one here has already exceeded it. It still worked. We just didn't like it, you know. So we have a different option. I'll make another video about that, about what we're doing with this stuff. But if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like the video, make a comment below, let me know you came by to say hi. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate the growth on the network. It is how we survive as small YouTube channels. Now, with this, I'm not going to put anybody through the hassle of watching me take this thing apart. But I know there's a whole bunch of screws in here, and I got a whole bunch of screwdrivers over there. And I'm basically just going to look at this carefully and see how I need to disassemble it to be able to get that job done. Certain pieces overlap other pieces, so I'll be able to, you know, determine what that is. Like these two pieces can come off, the top part can come off, and these sides can come off, and then I can look at it each different step along the way. Here's a piece of metal about midway. This is rusty, this particular one, so that gives me a clear indication that that's probably a bracket that holds the two together. And there's got to be more than that, because this whole thing, you know, can tilt, and that's how we got it out of the cabinet in the first place. So other than that, you know, that's what it's going to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to remove a whole bunch of screws to determine which way I want to go about actually removing the entire process. So these wires come in here, and there has to be enough wires and a connection somehow between the top and the bottom so as to get the job done. So let's take a break. I'll get to work, and we'll see what we have. See you in a bit. Okay, so I got the front cover off. This is it hanging out over here. It's very flimsy and everything else. The final thing where there were two screws at the bottom that allowed me to get that out. I'm going to wheel this over here a little bit, get a little closer, not lose any tools, and I don't want to leave any sharp objects on the ground to do damage to me or other things. So let's keep those over there and out of the way. Inside the box here, and kind of, I don't know how it was hooked in. Oh, here's a little spring here. There were instructions. So unless I ripped the whole thing apart, I really never would have seen that. Anyway, so it looks like there's a fan there, a couple of fans and things of that nature. And anyway, so the description here, this is the lower unit and the upper unit here. So it seems like most electronics are up in the top, and then somehow goes down around the back, probably through these two covers here. So I'm going to most likely have to remove both of these covers, and I should probably remove the top one first because it's like hanging on to the bottom one there. It's got a little lip right here so it can't fall down. So you can see that lip there. The other way, lips right here where this joint is. That's just kind of hanging down over there. So I'll remove all these screws here and take that back off. What I'm trying to do is just really get down to the point where I can separate the two units and then take them out one at a time. I can do that. I can actually fit it in my cart and drive it out there with my lawnmower. So yeah, that'd be pretty good. So this will be the next step. I'll just glance at this and see where the connections are, and then go ahead and remove these two units from each other. But first I'm going to take these two parts off, and then maybe we'll come back and look and see if I discovered anything more helpful. Okay, well, there are a ton of little screws all around this thing, but I've removed them from this cover. And the first thing I'm going to do is put these screws out of the way so that I or my property don't get hurt by that. And then I'm going to lift this off. Now what I noticed is, well, number one, this is very, very sharp all the way around it. It can do a lot of damage to my hands. So you got to be real careful about how I handle this. But this is sheet metal. This is absolutely recyclable. this is the kind of thing that they would probably want. So I want to get all the clearly metal parts without all of these other attachments on them. I also got to be careful is sometimes there is a pent up charge in these things. It doesn't dissipate. Once you unplug it, you might, still get a whap from it, just a whack, electrical charge. And you don't want that. So I'm going to make sure I'm real careful about that. And as I remove these things, but I'm going to try to have it to where the easily recyclable parts without all the extra accoutrement attached to it will be easily taken away for being recycled. All right. So let's take a little break. I'll get that bottom one off, and then hopefully I can see more of the attachments and how they are. Well, let's see right here. This piece of metal right here is actually part of the inside of the oven. This comes out and wraps around. It's this bracket here that I'm sure has something to do with it being connected, but I may have to remove these sides. The problem is I don't know what's in there. I've never taken a stove apart or an oven apart before. And, I don't have that education, training, and experience to know what I'm doing here. But I know that if the metal wraps around this side and wraps around this side here, and there's big holes in it, and I can snip the wires or whatever and get rid of the things that are in my way, I can remove that, and if I've snipped all the wires off, I can remove the whole section, and I will see whatever it is that might be holding this thing together to be able to but to remove it and take it in half so that I can more easily remove it. All right. Oh, the bright lights because my garage door is open. I also have the overhead lights on. So with that, let me do some more removal of stuff and see where we're at. I'm going to try to look around and see if there's something I can tell I can remove from here, because this piece of metal here wraps around the side and is holding this up in here. There's a whole bunch of screws in there, but this is broke. I mean, it's not broken. It's two separate pieces. That frame attached to this piece and this piece here. And some of these screws I probably never even had to remove at all. But I do. I think this might just be a support bracket for the door, which would be what this is down here. But I know that these units come apart somehow. So let's keep digging and see what we can find out. Okay, well, I'm already a sweaty mess, so, fun on that. The other thing is I have cut a lot of the wires off, some of which are pretty heavy duty wires at that. So, and I've started keeping my tools off of this. This thing up here, by the way, is a fan. And I realize it's a fan because it spins, number one. But this black spot up here is actually a vent here. There's another one down here, and that takes whatever smoke or whatever some heat or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. It's actually removing out of there, but it's taking air and it's pulling it out and it's filtering it out through the front of the ovens. And we knew that stuff was there and all that, but I've already taken off the sides, and the top is gone. This is the top over here. And the top just had like a lot of electronics are attached to the top. So, even though the electronics are kind of in the front facing part of it, all these wires have to come up through and connect to different things for different functions and all that. So now I'm still looking for some discernible way in which these two pieces separate apart. And I've removed this. And now I'm going to remove the other side of it. And what I've kind of come down to at this point is that this thing really is just a thin box. There's a heavy part in the middle of it. But the heavy part that's in the center of it, I might be able to just lift up and put in my cart, because after I remove all this other stuff, it won't be quite so heavy. If I remove all the metal pieces on the outside and just have the metal pieces from the inside that are connected together, frankly, that'd be fine. So I'm going to try to remove all the electronic stuff, the wires, the stuff that's really garbage or not really recyclable, or worth recycling kind of thing. I don't know how that works. The county does or does not deal with that, either which way they work. And I'll just remove the things that have extra weight to them and then take whatever's left and put it out. But I'll keep working on this now, take this side off and see, how we go. And the other fan, by the way, is down here. So that's what the back of the fan looks like there. And I've just been removing all the wires, taking them off and taking them out and all that. Basically, at this point, the goal and objective has gone from separating the two to just making it as light as I can so I can put it in the cart and get it out to the street where the county actually picks it up. We've already contacted them, and they do pick these things up, and we can disassemble them, or if we were able to, and I had a big bed, cart with big giant tires on it and stuff like that, and I could have pulled it out. Or if we had a sidewalk or a driveway that went all out, because our driveway is grass, and it's sand underneath that, so there's no way in the world that I'm going to be able to drag this thing on these wheels, and it's too heavy for me to lift up into my cart. So let's get back to snipping some more stuff off and see what we come up with. All right, just midway. I got the top off, midway comments here. The top is like, it's burnt and rusted. So I don't know what did that to this oven. And it's rust underneath. So, yeah, good time to get rid of it, put in the new stuff. And I'm looking forward to making that video on the new stuff. We're trying to work that cabinet around to be perfect for this. But so now I've removed the top as well. This piece here doesn't necessarily need to come off, but I'm going to yank this piece off. I just need to remove 2 more screws down here. And again, we're just lightening the load. And when I go to put this thing in the cart, I'm going to have to get more protective gear on, because this thing's got nothing but a bunch of sharp edges on it, just willing and itching to cut me to pieces. So let me go ahead and take a pause here, and we'll come back with another segment. Okay, this thing never ceases to shock and amaze, but removing the side panels, the back panel, electrical wires, and even the top made this whole thing a whole lot lighter. And hopefully I don't cut myself to pieces on this. But this is now disconnected. And that thing that when I lift this up and you see that piece maybe hanging right here, that is very, very sharp. I need to make sure, because I know it's on both sides. But I also know that I can reach in here and hang on to this. And this is connected. This metal frame part right here is connected to the rest of it. All right. And down. Well, I wasn't really looking forward to that, because this puppy is really, really sharp all the way around. It's lightweight, very lightweight. And it's either really thin sheet metal or, pre-folded aluminum kind of stuff, just to fit right in, custom fit. I have to say I was woefully unimpressed on the way things connected up in here. I get it, but that is what it is. And anyway, so now with this point here, I can get my lawnmower out, put the cart behind it, and I can get these pieces out there. Stop. This is all light enough for me to. This part here is a little bit heavier, but it's got some things on it too. The fan's still on there. It's got more protection on this lower unit than it did on the upper unit as far as the heat goes. So now let's load up the cart. Let's go ahead and load up the cart and see if I can get these things out. And I'll be right back in a bit. Okay, so this is the end of the video where I disassembled the entire double ovens. I have some stuff over here on the floor. I just tilt this forward a little bit, and you can see down there I have wire bundles, and then on that bucket over there I have all those little screws. Some of the screws I'll be able to reuse on other projects that I have going on. A couple of pieces of wire I'll be able to recycle and use on other projects that I'm working on. Just small little things. But I just want to make the mention on that lower oven. It was heavy. It was heavier than the top oven, number one. Number two, it had more sharp things on it that I didn't remove, and some of which where I didn't even want to get into removing them. So I wear my welder's gloves to just lift that up and put it in the back of the cart. So I'm going to actually get myself a whole lot sweatier, because I'm taking that stuff out and bringing it back. I dragged that around with my lawnmower. My lawnmower is a commercial version of a lawnmower, because we got a lot of yard. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and cut the grass today too, and get caught up to speed with that. All right, so but that's going to wrap it up for this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like the video. Make a comment below. Let me know you came by to say hi. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate the growth on the network. It is how we survive as small YouTube creators, right? So as I catch you in the next video, take care and be well.